Hello everyone, welcome to Miss Shannon's Story Time. Today I'm going to be reading a story that my daughter just checked out of the library. I have not read it fully, so we're going to do a dry read. If I make a few bumps and mistakes, please excuse them. But it looks like such a beautiful little story, as well as the illustrations look beautiful. So I want to share it with everyone today. Here we go. The Magic Purse, retold by Yoshiko Uchida, illustrated by Keiko Narahashki. That was a little tricky to say. See, I didn't do any practice or read this book before. The Magic Purse. Long ago, in a small mountain village of Japan, there lived a poor young farmer. He scarcely had money for food or clothing, but each month he saved a few coins, hoping to go with his friends to the Isha shrine in the spring. But as the months passed, he realized he could never save enough money for the long journey. His friends would have to go without him. At last, one April morning when the mist still hung low over the fields of rice, the farmer saw his friends start down the winding road, laughing and singing as they left for the Aish shrine. I think it's the Isa shrine. If I could only go with them, he murmured sadly. Go then, a voice deep inside him urged. Go with them. Hurry. But before he quite knew what he was doing, the farmer wrapped some rice cakes in bamboo leaves and hurried down the road after his friends. But no matter how far he walked, he saw no sign of them. Finally, he came to a strange road he had never seen before, and believing it to be a shortcut, he hurried on. Soon dark thunderclouds gathered in the sky, and raging winds and rain tore at his thin straw cape. The farmer realized that the road he had taken him straight to the terrible black swamp filled with murky waters, quicksand, and slithering snakes. Before he could turn back, a strange young girl came toward him. Her hair hung long and black, and her silvery blue kimono shimmered in the dusky light. Although she had walked through the waters of the swamp, she was neither muddy nor wet, and a sad, lonely smile hovered on her lips. Don't be afraid, she called in a thin, wavering voice. I know who you are, a good, kind man, and I have come to ask for your help. But the farmer stammered, backing away. All I ask, the young girl went on, is that you take a letter for me to my mother and father, who live in the red swamp near Osaka. The red swamp, gasped the farmer. No one ever comes out of it alive. Besides, he added, I am on my way to the shrine at Isa, and I must hurry on." Tears gathered in the young girl's eyes. "I'm a prisoner of the ruler of this black swamp," she sobbed, "and I can never see my parents again. Please, won't you take my letter so they will know I think of them always?" The gentle farmer could not refuse. "Ah, that is very sad," he said. "I will do as you ask." As soon as he had taken the long white envelope she held out, the young girl gave him a small red purse that bulged with coins. "Take this magic purse," she said. "Spend as much as you like, but always leave one coin in it. And the next morning, the purse will be full once again." Then, in a whispery voice that sounded like the flutter of bird wings, she thanked the farmer and disappeared into the swamp as suddenly as she had appeared. The farmer looked all around, but saw only the dark, murky waters of the swamp. From somewhere in the distance, he heard a soft voice calling, "Don't forget me. Don't forget me. Don't forget." Then it died away like an echo in the stillness. The farmer shivered, yet he looked up. The clouds were gone. The sun was shining once again. "I must have dreamed the whole thing," he muttered. But the bulging red coin purse in his hand was very real indeed. Still wondering about his strange adventure, he set off toward the red swamp. As he neared Osaka, he stopped to ask a fish peddler how to get to the swamp. "The red swamp?" the peddler asked, horrified. "You are going to the red swamp? Why, you'll never come out of it alive!" And he hurried off, shaking his head. The farmer next stopped a woodcutter to ask the way. But the woodcutter shuddered and said, "Only death awaits you there, young man. I urge you not to go." By now the farmer was tempted to throw away the letter, but he could not forget the beautiful young girl nor her plaintive cry. And so he trudged on. At last he came to the edge of the terrible swamp and saw giant gnarled trees heavy with streams of moss. Vapors of steam rose from the whirlpools, and giant snakes and crocodiles slithered about in the muddy waters. Soon the farmer was surrounded by darkness. He clapped once to announce his arrival and heard the sound echoing into the silence of the swamp. When he clapped a second time, he saw an old man with a long white beard approaching in a small, creaky boat. "Ah, you have brought word from our daughter," the old man said, as though he had been waiting for the farmer. "Yes, yes," said the farmer eagerly, handing him the letter. He was anxious to complete his task and be on his way. But the old man said, "Please come with me, my friend, and do not be afraid. I know the swamp well and promise no harm will come to you." The farmer was afraid to go with the old man and told him he must hurry to the shrine of Isa to meet his friend. Still the old man stretched out his hand, begging the farmer to come for just a few moments. Seeing the kindness in the old man's face, the farmer finally stepped into the boat. But the moment he did, he could scarcely keep his eyes open. And soon he fell sound asleep. When he awoke, he found himself in a beautiful golden room, and seated before him were the old man and his wife. "You have made us so happy," they said. "We can never thank you enough for your kind deed." The old man and woman brought out one golden lacquer tray after another, each laden with such delicious delicacies as the farmer had never seen before. There were lobsters and sea bream, fish roe and quail eggs. There were fried bumblebees and turtle chowder and squid and black mushrooms. The farmer ate until he could eat no more. Then he fell asleep on the thick silken quilts the old woman had made for him. When he awoke in the morning, he found another golden tray beside his pillow. This one was overflowing with coins of gold. "They are all for you," the old man and the old woman said, "to thank you for your kind and gentle heart." The farmer thanked them for their gift, and climbed once more into the old man's boat. He blinked for an instant and immediately found himself again at the edge of the swamp. "Goodbye, old man," the farmer said, bowing. "I shall never forget you." When he looked up, the old man had disappeared. Again, it all seemed like a dream. But the gold coins he had received were just as real as his magic purse. The farmer ran out into the spring sunshine, shouting, "I have been in the terrible red swamp, and I am alive and well." He could now travel to Isa in a sedan chair, and although he had missed his friends, he thanked the gods at the shrine for his great good fortune. When he returned to his village, his friends gathered around to hear his strange adventures in the swamp. Only a man with a kind heart could have delivered the letter, they said, and only a man of courage could have ventured alone into the red swamp. Surely you deserve all the riches that have come your way. And they all rejoiced with him. The farmer now built a new house and bought cows and horses and chickens and pigs. He hired many of the villagers to work for him and always helped anyone in need. But he never ran out of money, for he always left one coin in his purse, and the next morning the purse was full once again. The farmer thought often of the beautiful young girl in the swamp. And each year when the cherry trees blossomed like white clouds along the riverbank, he took a tray of rice cakes and wine to the black swamp and let it float away on the water. And on the next day, the tray drifted back to him with a tiny flower or a shiny green leaf on it. And he knew the young girl had received his gift. She never appeared to the farmer again, but even after many years, he could hear her gentle voice calling, "Don't forget me. Don't forget me." And for all the remaining days of his life, he never did. The end. Wow, what a great story this is. I think there's a couple of good lessons in here. Like we can look at him wanting to go on a trip but was scared to, but then finally decided to follow that feeling to go, even though he was scared to do it or was afraid that he wouldn't have enough money. He had that urge to take action. And when you think about the swamps, how scary and frightful they were, and then he heard a voice of encouragement. You know, sometimes we face swamps that are really our decisions that we don't feel comfortable making, that we are afraid to do a task, or we're afraid to make a decision because we are not certain of how it will work out or if it can work out. So the swamps are kind of the decisions and the tasks that are hard in life to do. And once we make them, everything does tend to fall into place. You know, he received so many gifts from places or in ways that he couldn't think of. So he didn't necessarily have to come up with an idea of where his gifts would come from. But they did come because he believed in making the effort. He made the choice to do something that was scary, even if he wasn't sure how it would work out. And then seeing all the gifts that he received, he shared it. He shared it with others by hiring people in his area that he lived, and by being respectful in showing gratitude, sending a little gift back into the universe, or to the girl, the magical appearance of this girl, by showing her gratitude, sending her a gift every day. So he learned to be happy with what he received and to share what he received, and to face the choices that may be hard, even if he didn't know how they were going to turn out. What a great story. I loved it. I hope you liked it too. Thank you for joining me at Miss Shannon's Story Time, and hopefully you'll come back again.